for all the time that I gave myself to think about doing this AMA and the planning and everything that went on in between, I never thought of any kind of an intro for this. So we're just gonna surge into this. Hey everybody, this is Madam Wigglesworth coming to you first thing in the morning. My voice is a little bit gravelier. There's a lot more gravel to my voice. I sound like I'm gargling 20 frogs. I just woke up and I have some coffee next to me, and you're probably going to hear my coffee maker in the background a handful of times. It does this weird clicking noise, but I'm outside of my usual recording room because I wanted to get started bright and early, first thing, on the responses to the AMA. The AMAWR, I should say. Not a ton of questions that came in. That's perfectly fine. And for those of you who apologized for your questions being strange, if you thought they were, no need to apologize. Actually, I got a handful of really fun questions, and some interesting ones that have come in here. Some that are going to be really simple to answer, and some that will require a little bit more of an elaborate explanation. So why I'm deciding to do it when I have a bit of gravel tone to my voice, I have no idea. But again, I realized this was going to be a thing that was going to take me most of the day, so I wanted to get started on it as soon as possible. Also, you're going to hear the mic kind of bobble a little bit every so often in the background. I don't have a stand for this thing, actually. I've been holding it. A stand for this would be fantastic, actually. That's something I'm going to have to invest in here soon. But you'll also, every once in a while, be charmed by the sound of me drinking coffee, so here you go with that. So, to kind of set the scene for you here, as I try to shift this microphone from one hand to the other as delicately as possible. I'm going to apologize for any of those noises right now. So I'm sitting here in outside of my recording room, and like I said, I woke up first thing. My morning routine is basically this. I pull out some pills I need to swallow, some, like multivitamins and some vitamin C, and I'm really, really, really sore from work the other day, so I got like an Advil and some antidepressants and my morning coffee, and basically that's it. My coffee of choice is Dunkin' Donuts. They have like this cinnamon donut brand, or not brand, but this flavor from like their bakery line, and it's delicious, and I love the way it makes the house smell. But the problem is it's not like my favorite coffee. They had a cinnamon spice that I just adored when they first, or when I first started drinking their coffee, and they stopped making it shortly thereafter. It's a huge bummer. I will pretty much drink any kind of coffee that I can get my hands on, especially first thing in the morning. But I am a loyal drinker of the Dunkin' brand. It is my favorite. It doesn't upset my stomach like some brands can. So it's been a long favorite of mine. I'm actually really excited that we're getting closer to the autumn and winter seasons, because they also have a pumpkin spice flavor, which is not bad. That's kind of a staple of autumn around the United States. I don't know if that's the same thing in other countries around the world, but they also have some sort of like maple something or other. I can't remember what it's called because I think they introduced it last year, and that was really, really good. But my favorite seasonal coffee they have is in winter. They have a mint chocolate that is just delicious, and I'm one of those crazy people that like. You can find most of these brands at Target, right? So like I will go to Target at the end of the winter season, and that coffee will be on clearance, and I will buy whatever bags of mint chocolate they have left. So like a few years ago, it was on clearance. They had like 4 bags left, and I bought all 4 bags. So I am a patron saint in the house of Dunkin'. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, that's a little bit of a ramble on my part. Like I said, just sort of setting the stage for you guys. It's nice and chilly in here, so the coffee is wonderful. I have a splash of milk in my coffee as per my usual. Not really a creamer fan. I don't like sugar in my coffee. and just regular powdered cream doesn't do anything. I put milk in there just so I can like drink it right away. The worst is having to go into Starbucks and, you know, because there aren't any Dunkin' Donuts out here, unfortunately. Or if there are, I don't know where they are. But the worst is having to go into Starbucks or any other coffee shop and say, hey, yeah, I would like a raspberry latte or something. And oh, by the way, can you make that a drinkable temperature? Because when I get a drink, I want to start indulging in it right away, right? And sometimes with coffee, it's just so warm that you can't like really do anything with it. I've gone on for like 5 minutes about coffee, and I haven't answered a single question. I was trying to break into some like practical stuff about myself, and I just ended up going on like a soliloquy about coffee, which I guess tells you a lot about me. I'm just kind of a coffee addict. So what do you say we get to some of these questions? And go ahead and start answering these. And if you hear the fan for my computer in the background, that is also very normal. Coffee maker and the fan. We are really winging it here today, guys. This is as raw can get. So the first question that I got for the AMAWR is from, and there goes Messenger. Oh man, this is so raw, it's ridiculous. Excuse all the background noise, guys. Just think of this as like a cozy sit down. You and me and several hundred other of our friends are just kind of hanging out for here. But anyway, the first question that I got was from William G, who says, my question is, will you do an audio where you and your partner get engaged? Like you ask her or she asks you? Thanks for that email, William. Yes, that's a plan for the future. Absolutely. I have a spreadsheet full of requests that people have given me for many different things. You're not the first person to request a proposal, and honestly, until I get there, I doubt that you will be the last. But it's kind of interesting. The bigger that the channel gets, the more surprised I am at how often requests will repeat each other, and not necessarily from the sense of just like... Like that makes sense. Of course, there would be repeating questions there and everything, but I mean from more the standpoint of like the channel has grown so fast that it, like I have to stop myself from being like, yes, somebody asked that question already, because how would you know that? You know, you're asking the question because you're just going off on a limb, because how many times do I end a video by saying, hey, if you have a request for a future video, or you want to say hi, drop me a line. I mean, you're just doing what I'm telling you to do, you know. So, but yes, that is absolutely in the docket for the future. The thing with requests though is that I got a really late head start. I got a really late start on them, and what I wanted to do, I didn't really like commit to doing request videos until like a month or so after I got my first, which is a huge delay on my part. I don't think I'm going to say this like 1,000 times in this video. I really didn't anticipate how fast this channel was going to grow, and how big it was going to get at the time. So whenever I got requests, I was just like, okay, I could probably just like put this on the side and then get to it eventually. And then when I actually started making a spreadsheet for said videos, it just like got bigger and bigger, and I was like, oh crap, I actually have to like commit to these now. and when you're doing 2 videos a week, you know, that really like limits how often you can actually do your own material, you know. So I've been really trying to pump out the requests from here and take care of those, which sometimes is easier said than done. But it also just depends. It also just depends on what the subject of the video is itself. So, but yes, you're not the first person to request that, and that will be at some point in the future. Again, 2 videos a week means I don't get all of your requests right away, but I do have them written down in a spreadsheet, and you and the others that have requested that will get credit for it when I post it. And I also mark down your email addresses and your usernames so that I can try and let you know beforehand when your request is going to be posted. I haven't been quite as good at that lately, so I'm going to try and improve on that. But long answer, but yes, that is the plan. I didn't even think about the fact that I'm going to have to try and pronounce these names correctly. Crap. There's another failure on my part. I just read the names and I don't think about the fact that I'm going to have to say them out loud later. So this one is from Hyraith. Hiraeth. I'll put your names and the questions and stuff on the video here. I don't know why I'm saying that to you. You're gonna be seeing that. That's probably more a note to myself than anything else. I do that all the time in these videos too. Anyway, their question was, excuse me. I don't have any much thought I put into questions, but I wanted to know what your zodiac sign is. My zodiac sign is a Capricorn. I was born in December. I don't have a problem throwing that out there. I am a Christmas baby, which is actually kind of a funny story. I was originally due on Valentine's Day, so how the doctor got that so dramatically wrong, I absolutely have no idea. But actually a funny story. My mom was with my siblings out to a restaurant, and the waitress, this was maybe in early December, I think. I can't remember exactly when this story takes place, but it was around the Christmas season, around the Thanksgiving Christmas season, somewhere around there. And the waitress asked my mom when she was due, and my mom said Valentine's Day, and as she told the story, the waitress deadpanned at my mom, "Lady, there's no way that baby's coming out Valentine's Day." like that baby's not gonna wait that long. And she was right. I was much sooner than that, but yes, my zodiac sign, I'm a Capricorn. From Hannah, she has a couple of questions here, actually, and I really like I have to tell you, Hannah, your questions made me think a little bit, and probably a little bit harder than they needed to. She has 2 questions. The first one is, who is your favorite Disney character? Maybe your top 2 favorites. And I kind of had to think about this for a moment, and when I realized what the answer was, I felt like a big doofus, because I obviously have a favorite Disney movie, and I have categorizations of who I think are like the best Disney princes, excuse me, as well as the best Disney princesses, because I'm a writer outside of doing the whole ASMR thing. More on that later. And so I'm really interested in like characters that are really well fleshed out and have a whole lot like of development to them in their movies, or if they're actually just like, in the case of the princes, if they actually do something other than being eye candy. So like Aladdin gets a lot of credit because he actually went to go save the princess and he tried to make up for his mistake, whereas like Prince Charming from Snow White was just there as like eye candy. But Prince Philip gets a lot of bonus points too, because like he fights a fucking dragon and goes to and tries to save Aurora and all that kind of stuff. And so I was sitting there and I kept thinking about it, and like Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie, but I wouldn't say that Aladdin or Jasmine are my favorite characters. And I kept thinking about it, and then it just kind of hit me out of nowhere. So my favorite this is so weird. My favorite Disney character is Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and there's a reason for this. I love Ursula because she just gets it. So the thing with The Little Mermaid is that this is not... It's a movie I watched all the time when I was a little kid. In fact, I watched The Little Mermaid so much when I was a kid that our VCR actually ate our cassette, the cassette of the movie, which for those of you who are like you young whippersnappers who have all your digital media nowadays, VCRs and like cassette tapes are like these huge like clamshell looking things, or they came in like clamshell cases, and they were just enormous, and they looked like square film reels, and they were very easy to warp, and the quality of the picture, it was really easy to lose that because dust would get inside of it. They would get inside of it, and repetitive viewing would also affect the film that was inside the little containers, and it had to have a little special flap that came down that protected the film from elements and things like that. Basically a lot harder to take care of and a lot less convenient than like Blu-ray or digital media like it is today. Of course, I'm going to say all that, and there is going to be a bunch of responses to this that are going to be like, I'm 15 and I know what a VHS is, and you know what? Good for you. I have to consider my audience here, okay? But anyway, So the VCR ate that tape because I watched it so much. I don't remember exactly what happened. I just know that there was a long period of time where I couldn't watch The Little Mermaid, and it just devastated me. But anyway, that was when I was a kid. When I got older, I didn't really appreciate The Little Mermaid that much. But whenever I did watch it, quick little microphone transfer here from one hand to the other. When I did watch it, I realized how much I really enjoyed Ursula, and I like one of my favorite things to do with movies is to go look at the behind the scenes stuff, and like see, especially for like Disney movies, because I'm a big fan of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, and I really enjoyed watching stuff that had to do with Pat Carroll, who was the voice of Ursula, and Howard Ashman interacting with each other and kind of giving different dynamics to that character. So the thing that really like caught on with me was like how much fun Pat Carroll had with this character, and how much Howard Ashman really seemed to just be invested in her. But really, like, going back to Ursula Gets It. So like, here's the thing. So she's this cast out, and she's wasting away to practically nothing, as she says in the film, which I am horrified to think of how she looked when she was in Atlantica, if how she is, as we know her, is her wasting away to practically nothing. But, she wants to go and take over, like, she wants to get revenge, right? She wants to like, make Triton pay and all that stuff. And she's clearly been thinking about this for a while. She's trying to think of some sort of plan to like really get back at him. And then she has the opportunity to see Ariel with a crush on a human. And what's the line that she says when she sees that? Oh, it's too easy. It's too easy. The child is in love with is in love with a prince, and not just any old prince, a human. Oh, no. The other way around. The child is in love with a prince, and not just any old prince, a human. I just said that. You know what I mean. And then she's all like, Daddy'll love that. And she's absolutely right. Like, the great thing about her is that she realizes that she doesn't need to put together this super elaborate plan to take over Atlantica and the entire ocean. All she has to do is wait for Ariel, a typical 16-year-old who wants to do things that her parents don't want her to do, to like fall into a little rebellious phase. And then she can take over everything from that. And it's simple, and it's realistic, and it works. And really, like, if it weren't for, I mean, if you kind of think about it, if she had just like stopped being so focused on Ariel and realized that like the prince was probably somebody that she would need to take care of too, because she did spend time with Eric. I mean, hypnotized, yes, but she did spend time with Eric. Like, she would have won. She would have won, and it wouldn't have been that hard. Instead, she gets impaled, and she gets melted, I guess, down back into the ocean. I don't know. But bits and pieces and stuff, whatever. Yeah, R.I.P. Ursula. But Poor Unfortunate Souls is like my favorite. Is like my favorite Disney villain song. Gaston is the greatest Disney villain song like ever written, in my opinion. But my personal favorite is Poor Unfortunate Souls. Whenever I'm talking to someone and they say to me, hey, that's what I do, I immediately have to break out with, it's what I live for. And then it's hard for me not to just burst into song. And sing the entirety of Poor Unfortunate Souls. I love that song. We used to have a piano book when I was a kid. My siblings play the piano, and we'd go through the whole Little Mermaid and sing all those songs and stuff and have a great time with them. But yeah, Ursula for sure is my favorite Disney character. And of course, you did say top 2 favorites, so I guess I would kind of just say. I would say Rapunzel, maybe, from Tangled. And I'm just thinking of a second one off the top of my head, but I really like the kind of, the potential for the psychological play that you could put into with Rapunzel. I love how Disney portrayed her innocence, and how you feel the grass underneath your toes for the first time, and being very naive, but also being very smart, and having the ability to shock people because they think, well, you're locked in a tower for all this time, you're not going to know anything, and she can kind of outwit anybody because, yeah, she's been locked in a tower for all this time, but hey, she could also like probably play a pretty damn mean game of chess, like different stuff like that. So I'll throw that out as my second favorite character. I do like Rapunzel. Not to mention I'm really jealous of how her hair looks after it gets cut, because I don't know what special flick of the wrist Flynn Rider had to be able to get her hair to look that way. But damn, son, he needs there's his future when everything settles down in the town. Anyway, so Hannah's other question was, what musical instruments do you play, if any, and singing counts? I am a singer, actually. My entire family's basically singers. My parents met in college in their choir class. So both my parents are singers, and my siblings are all singers, and I am as well. As far as instruments go, I am a drummer. I have played the drums. I've been able to keep a steady beat since I was 2 years old. My parents would sing a song and have me clap my hands, and I would be able to clap with them, and like I said, I could keep a steady beat. They bought me my first drum set. It was a Fraggle Rock drum set when I was 2, I believe, and I played the crap out of that thing. It was like my favorite Christmas gift for the longest time. And like whenever I would get on actual like drum kits, my legs are so short that I couldn't reach, the hi-hat or the kick, the bass kick. So any other person who was there with me would just lock the hi-hat, and I would just play off the hi-hat and the snare and the toms and whatnot. And I even played with my parents in some little performances when I was still in like the single digits. In fact, I have a very vivid memory of being very tired and trying to keep up with my parents and my mom kind of turning to me and being like, speed up, like keep up with a steady beat. I would just be like, I'm tired. I can't do it. Which might sound mean, but it was actually a great training exercise for me when I was a kid, because it really taught me like a lesson about endurance and building up the ability to play for a really long time and stuff. It was an excellent lesson for me. Another sip of coffee here. Oh no, that was the last drink, and I already started recording. Damn it! I should have thought about that a little bit further. But anyway, yeah, so I played the drums and a lot of different types of percussion instruments, pretty much my entire life. And then when I got into junior high, I picked up the bass guitar, which helped me out a lot more with my drumming, as a matter of fact. I picked up the bass guitar and I played with different bands outside of junior high and into high school, and even after high school, as a matter of fact. And I'd like to think that I got pretty good with that too. When I moved away from there and lived and moved to where I am now, I haven't been able to play either instrument very much. But let me tell you, not Rock Band, but like oh god, I can't remember its name. Oh my god, I bought it like for this reason. The game that you can play where you can like plug in an actual instrument and play along with songs. I think it's called Rocksmith. Has been a great substitute for like an actual band and being able to and being able to basically keep up with practice. So that's let's see, that's pretty much it. I mean, those are pretty much the two that I excel at, or the three, I guess, since singing counts. So that's the deal from Hannah. Sorry, I'm trying to like go through this list as well. I'm distressed at my coffee. I'm considering pausing so that I can go get another cup. Well, I'm also trying to pick up these other questions. Yeah, here we go. Here's the next set of questions. All right. Oh my god, I'm gonna be such a huge dork. I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Okay, so looking back on it, I just realized I don't need to tell you guys that I'm going anywhere. I could have just paused the recording and just gone to get stuff myself, but I feel like I'm having a conversation with you guys all of a sudden, so it's like, I'll be right back, you guys. I'll be right back. Excuse me while I pause the recording and go get myself some coffee and take my meds. So, anyway, going back to these questions. So, the next couple of questions, is from Adele Smith. And they ask, do you have long hair or short hair? What color is it? My hair is long. I'm actually going to go get it cut at some point pretty soon here, because with my job, it gets in the way more than it needs to. My hair is long, and it is a dark color. I'll just put it that way. My avatar for the channel is a little bit more accurate than you think it is. I'll say that. She also asks, have you ever been to a pride parade? How was it? I've never been to a pride parade, as a matter of fact. I would like to one of these days, just to kind of have the experience of it under my belt. Thing is, I'm a really, really big introvert. So the fact that I'm doing an AMA and responding to them and even like telling stories is probably like really weird to a lot of you guys, but having a ton of customer service experience kind of helps you learn to like chat and kind of break out of your shell a little bit. But no, I've never been to a pride parade. I don't get out very much. I mean, like, I go to sporting events and things like that, but mostly I kind of keep to myself. I'm a fairly private person. But I would one of these days like to go and experience one. I think the one that happens locally has already passed, since it's getting closer to the winter time. But one of these days I would like to. So I can't tell you how it was, because because I was never there. They also ask, what type of music do you like? Any favorite artists? Oh God, this question was tough. So I love all sorts of music. I'm a hugely, since, you know, my parents are singers and I'm a musician myself, I'm very eclectic with my music tastes. I love rock. I think that, like, rock kind of speaks to something in me that allows me to be aggressive, but also with an emotion that allows me to that allows, like, I feel like rock is one of those genres where you can use the drums to help it be large or help it be soft. And I know when everybody thinks about rock, they typically think about the guitar, but, like, until you actually play it and until you actually have a chance to really experience it with it, you realize how much the drums really kind of have an impact and that sort of thing. But, like, I've really gotten on a huge, like, I had such disrespect for 80s rock when I was younger, and I have gotten onto a huge kick with it now that I'm older. God, looking at a bunch of just, and not even necessarily 80s rock, but also, like, 80s music in general is just fantastic, and I wish that I'd paid more attention to it when I was younger. In fact, here, if I boot up my Google playlist here really quick and kind of see what I have, I could give you a bit more specifics, I suppose. No, I don't want podcasts. I'm on a recording right now. Don't you understand how important it is that you take me directly to the music library? Let's go to albums and let's see what I got here. So I got a bunch of, like, different instrumentals too. Oh, of course, yes, the Beatles. My dad raised us on the Beatles. I absolutely love them. I have pretty much all their albums that I can get on Google Play. I love instrumentals too, actually. I'm probably a bigger fan of film soundtracks than I am of actual music. Because as a writer, whenever you need a nice dramatic moment, the film score usually helps you out with that. And in that case, the late James Horner was one of my favorites. I miss him a lot. I miss his music so much. His soundtrack to Braveheart is arguably my favorite soundtrack of all time. It's so sweeping and it's so majestic and epic, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Let me think, what else do I have up around here? I love Whitney Houston. Whitney's my girl. I grew up listening to Whitney, and I can't get enough of her. I don't typically listen to country, but I will listen to Carrie Underwood. Big fan of hers. I really enjoyed Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande. Both those girls. Oh my God, they are so talented, and the control they have on their voices is just amazing. I love Daughtry. I should take that back. I love the debut album of Daughtry. Their more recent stuff I'm kind of, unfortunately, not that big on, but that album, that debut album, is like in my top 3 favorite albums of all time. So I can at least give him props for that. Let's see, what else? I like Daft Punk. Daft Punk is pretty awesome. Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue album is another one of my top favorite albums of all time. I can pull in some Skillet every so often. Actually, I do really like Skillet. Here's the soundtrack for Stranger Things. That should surprise absolutely zero of you. Other simple, like, 80s. Michael Jackson is in here. Dead or Alive is in here. A handful of Coldplay stuff is in here. Like, my music tastes are just all over the map. So I can't necessarily say that I have a particular favorite artist. I can tell you for sure that I have a favorite composer, like I said, the late James Horner. Hans Zimmer is another really good one. Oh, you know what? Two Steps from Hell is an amazing, if you love instrumental music that also has like some guitar or some like drums to it, like some sort of hard beat, like something kind of similar to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Two Steps from Hell is amazing. I have used them more often than not whenever I'm like writing action sequences. And it just, it makes you, there are a few things that make you feel so epic and so kick-ass as to get something from those guys and to be able to run with it. Let's see. What other, I think that concludes all of the emails that I got. So let me pull up Twitter here real quick and try and think of something to say in the meantime. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the last piece of cake video that I posted this morning. I had a really fun time with that one. Like I said, I thought about that one a lot and had some good time with it. Let's see here. That one was not for the AMA. There is, I do want to point out there is one, and I'll hopefully answer this before this video gets up on, actually, I will answer this before this video gets up on Wednesday. Someone asked me something that's really not personal, but it's really personal for them, and I kind of want to address them directly, with my own opinions as well. But I would like to kind of throw this out to you guys as well. This question that they asked about coming out to homophobic parents and family, I want to answer this question to this person individually. But the reason I throw it out here is because if there are any of you listening that have advice for this as well, I want you to throw this out too. So this individual, you know who you are. Take a peek down at the comments below, like give this a couple of days and then come back and look at the comments here and see what some people have said in terms of advice for that. I kind of feel like with the group of us here, you know, I kind of consider, I talk about us all the time, right? When it comes to this channel, I don't feel like it's a me. I feel like it's an us. So I feel like this is a question that we as a group could kind of answer for them, but I want to give a chance for other people to kind of throw out their advice too, and not just my own. But they did also ask, do you like Erica Linder and have you seen Below Her Mouth? Erica Linder, androgynous model, is striking. That's what I'll throw out there. I've not seen Below Her Mouth. I've read a couple of things about it, and maybe I'll check it out at some point in the future. And then the last one that I have here is from, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your guys' name wrong. Like I said, it's early in the morning. This is my second cup of, actually, before you know what, we're just going to be safe. We're going to play it safe here. I'm going to have another drink of coffee before I get onto this question. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, that is the spot. Oh, could I possibly have made any weirder noise in the microphone than I did just then? Okay, so, I'm gonna bastardize this. Monifa Perry, Monifa. If that's, God, I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. Like I said, American, I Americanize everything. But I had a handful of questions, and all these are like really good. So she asks, what's one of your favorite hobbies outside of ASMR? So I mentioned earlier the thing about writing. I love writing. I have been writing, I have been doing storytelling basically like full force since I was in like the 5th grade. I never really figured out how much fun writing could be until I had a writing assignment where the subject was given to us and then we had to run with the rest of it. And the subject line was The Case of the Missing Musician. And there goes my Twitter again. The Case of the Missing Musician. And then we had to we had to run with the rest. And so I started up with that, and I thought of this elaborate story that was like, God, how many pages was that thing? I think the assignment was that the story had to be like 2 pages, and I ended up writing 6. Actually, I think I might have ended up writing 8. It was a really long story, and I basically made it out to be like, I was a filmmaker, and my composer was kidnapped by like the mob, and so we went to do the money exchange, but I put play money in the suitcase, and they found it out as they were leaving, and so they did this big turnaround in the vehicle, and they came and they caught me, but like, my significant other was part of like the FBI, and so they came in to save the day. It was like this way too elaborate story for some 5th grader to write. But I was like, I just ran with it, and I thought it was so cool, and that pretty much started everything. I realized that why would I wait for somebody to tell me a story that I want to hear when I can write my own? And every writing assignment after that was doomed. I mean, I habitually went way over the minimum amount of pages that you could write for those assignments, basically immediately after that. So I really enjoy writing, so I really enjoy like really strong plots and really interesting characters. So when something's just like gratuitous for no reason, it's really tough for me to get into. It's kind of like how like modern horror is the way that it is. Like it's more of like a gore fest or like a slash fest at this point in time. Like it doesn't really commit a lot to like engaging you in the characters' lives or like giving you a setup that you can relate to. It's just pretty much like, here are these scenes and they're going off to this resort and there's the bad guy with the knife. Oh, there goes their head, or like whatever. But conversely, I will give horror props. I know that this is like an old, like the classic origin story for like the killer goes and eliminates every person one at a time until there's the last person standing trope. But Alien was a master at this. They gave you characters that you could at least invest in some way, because they were just regular Joes trying to do their job, and then they tried to help somebody else, and then it all went wrong from there. And I think that a lot of us can kind of relate to a really simple scenario like that. And besides, it introduces us to Ellen Ripley, and Ellen Ripley is an amazing badass, and there are a few things that I love more than an amazing female badass in a movie. And she doesn't even try to be a badass either, which is like even better. Of course, that's kind of just the first film. She becomes a bit more of a badass in Aliens, which is absolutely magnificent in terms of taking source material and then turning it into a bigger story. But that is totally off the subject. So that's one of my favorite hobbies outside of ASMR. I'm also a gamer. I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. I love anime. My favorite anime of all time is Rurouni Kenshin. Sailor Moon is a pretty damn close second. Sailor Jupiter is my favorite, by the way. Sailor Jupiter, and then like a super close second is Sailor Uranus, which should like surprise absolutely nobody because she tends to be everybody's favorite. But Jupiter's my girl. I could totally relate to her at the time. And what else? Death Note is spectacular. If you like a really good story. Those are just ones that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. I have like a whole shelf that's in front of me that it's kind of in the dark right now and I can't read all of it, but I have a bunch of different types of anime. Vision of Escaflowne is another favorite. God, what else? All those are nice and introverted kind of stuff. I enjoy reading. That should surprise nobody. When I said I was a gamer, I love The Legend of Zelda. There are two series that I have legit bought consoles purely for them. And one of them is The Legend of Zelda, and the other is Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. I would actually, if you guys would be interested, I would love to one of these days do like, I mentioned before that like charity live streams and stuff. This is something that I want to do in the future. I'm considering doing like gaming charity live streams because honestly, I can't talk that long. But I figured like a gaming live stream would be an easy way to like keep topics rolling, and there's always something that you can really talk about. And Kingdom Hearts is one of those games that has such a big universe, that it'd be, I feel like that would be a fun time. Let me know what you guys think about that. Because I would like to, I can't do any, like, there's certain live streamy type things that I can't do until I hit 1,000 subscribers. That's a YouTube thing. Although I suppose I could do it on Twitch, but, let me know what you think about that. If, like, a gaming live stream, like, every once in a while, or even, like, gaming for a charity live stream, sounds like a good idea to you guys. Or even, like, games like Kingdom Hearts, or, like, some Zelda games that I'm pretty good at, or even, like, I mean, we're coming around to October, so, like, if this is a good idea to you guys, we could pull out some scary games. Like, I haven't played Alien Isolation, and I really want to. The Last of Us is brilliant. That would be a good one to play before the second one comes out. Just, like, give me some ideas. And then we'll sort of go from there. But let me know what you think about that. That's an idea that I've had brewing in the back of my mind. How on earth did I get onto this? I'm talking about favorite hobbies. Okay, good. That still relates to what we're talking about. I also enjoy cleaning, which sounds really dumb, but cleaning is very therapeutic for me. It allows me to think. It allows me to get my aggression out in a very healthy way. I'm slowly kind of enjoying baking too, but that's a little bit more frustrating. And it also deals with fractions and fuck fractions. Let's see. Another question they ask, do you have any kind of background / experience in acting, especially when it comes to improv, because you're really good at it in your videos? Thank you for that. That should be noted. For as much as I've gone on about writing in that previous question, I have never written a script for any of these videos. Not a single one. All of them have been improv. That said, at some point in the future, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to go to script form. I can't imagine a future where all of these videos are 13 to 15 minutes in length. Well, I would like to imagine a future where all of these videos are 13 to 15 minutes in length. But the problem with that is, the bigger that the channel gets, and these are a few things that I've slowly begun to think about as the channel gets popular, the bigger the channel gets, the harder it's going to be able to nail out requests and do them really well when they're that long. And I've mentioned before, one of these days I'd like to be able to do this stuff like 3 times a week. And maybe if this turns into something that I can, like, I can't even believe I'm getting ready to say this, but, like, if this is something that I could almost turn into, like, a part-time job, to wrap my mind around that. But if this is something that I could do with that, then 3 times a week would absolutely be no trouble, because then I could, like I'm working a full-time job right now. So trying to get everything out the way that it has is a lot. But that's something that I would like to do in the future, but I also feel like at some point that would also require scripts just to try and keep things organized. But as far as the background experience in acting, no, I don't. Not a single damn thing. I have been in one play where I had a major role, and that was it. But I will say that when I was a kid, here's a little story time with the madam. I mean, this video is like 44 minutes long. I mean, if you haven't had this story time with the madam at this point, I mean, I don't know what the hell this is. But when I was a kid, I decided that what I wanted to do with my life was I wanted to win an Oscar. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what an Oscar is, it is an Academy Award. It is the most prestigious of honors that you can get when it comes to filmmaking. I wanted to, actually more specifically, I wanted to be the first woman to win an Oscar for Best Director. So literally through my entire teenage years, I did nothing but studied the best of the best when it came to filmmaking. So like, I only watched Academy Award winning movies. I only watched Academy Award winning actors or actresses. I was regularly and habitually on the Academy's website looking at previous nominees and like who won what in what year. And I could give you all the Best Picture winners from like that point in time back into like the 70s. And like, I knew off the top of my head at the time how many times Meryl Streep had been nominated and how many times she'd won. And just all this absolutely useless knowledge when it came to the Academy. But what it did was that it made me notice how how people who worked in their craft changed that over the course of time. And while I'm not going to necessarily say that that was a bad thing to do, because that certainly fueled my interest, it wasn't a very building thing to do, because the thing with filmmaking is that every story is different, and every way that you need to film that story is unique. And really, the important thing about filmmaking is that you are a slave to the story. But you also have to micromanage everything as a director. And as I got older, that really intimidated me, because micromanaging is not what I like to do at all. I mean, I always imagined filming these like big budget adaptations of like Zelda games and stuff like that, and actually making them good. And I had like, I bought a camera when I was like 15, and I would film everything and everybody, and I had like, one of my siblings started having kids at the time, and so I got all this great practice of like filming babies, you know, just in case I needed to do that later, and all that type of stuff. But the older I got, the more intimidating it was for me, and I got a really nasty bit of discouragement one day from some people that I knew, some older people, you know, some peers who I was talking to, and they asked you the question that you typically get when you're, you know, a teenager, is what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And by that point, I already knew pretty well that I wanted to go to Hollywood and I wanted to make movies. And I was not ashamed telling people that. I mean, I would just tell people straight out, I'm a director. Like, I hadn't directed a damn thing in my life, but I was a director. And I had all these like half-completed scripts that were all over in these notebooks in my room, and like I paid attention to actors, and my dad would jokingly say whenever I like got hurt, he would say, quit Kate Winsletting it. You know, so like, stop acting like Kate Winslet. You're not trying to win an Oscar, you're just, you stubbed your toe, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I always told people I'm a director. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And so these two individuals asked me what I was going to do with my life, and I told them I'm going to go to Hollywood. And they both looked at me and gave me this stony face and said, you're not going to Hollywood. And I said, you don't know that. And they said, no, we do. You're not going to Hollywood. And you know, that was the most discouraging thing that I had basically ever heard about my future at that point in my life. And I really let that get to me. Because I didn't have, it wasn't like my parents weren't encouraging me in filmmaking, but there weren't a lot of great opportunities, at least where I lived, for me to do anything local to help build that desire that I had inside of me. And so because of that, I really let what those two individuals said get me down, to the point where I was like, well, maybe I won't be a filmmaker, but like I can at least write. So maybe I can do like some acting stuff and like write a movie that I would want to see and stuff. But then that discouraged me, because I read about how the film version of MASH, maybe I say the film version, actually I think the film came out first and then the TV show came out afterwards. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong, but basically Robert Altman had the screenplay, and then he was like, no, we're not going to do it like this. And the film is completely different from what the screenplay is, despite the fact that the screenplay won the Oscar for best screenplay. It wasn't even anything like the movie. And I realized, man, directors could really take over anything, and maybe I should just stick with acting. But then there were no acting opportunities that were available to me, not anything that I could really like legitimately pursue. And then that was around the time of my life where I was like, you know, maybe I'm just gonna have to be happy with like a 9-to-5 and just sort of, you know, move on with life from there. And it's funny, I hadn't realized how deeply ingrained those dreams were in my heart until 2010, when I was watching the Oscars. Uh-oh, things are starting to skip here. You doing okay here, computer? I hope so. Anyway, I was watching the Oscars with some family, and in 2010, Catherine Bigelow won the Best Director Oscar for her war movie, The Hurt Locker. And I remember when they announced her name, feeling like a legitimate pang in my heart, and realizing that my dream was now dead, because I was not going to be the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Director. It was never going to happen. And let's turn the fan up on this computer a little bit and see if that doesn't help. You're going to hear a lot going on in the background. Sorry about that. But that dream wasn't going to happen now. And it never occurred to me how much it was still in my heart until the moment I didn't have it anymore. But here's the thing, guys. Like, I'm actually happy that this question was asked, because I want to make this a point of emphasis, because I get a lot of comments about, can you make this video, because I don't know if this will ever happen for me. Guys, I gave up on that dream. I gave up on that dream when I was in my early 20s, and just decided that there were other ways that I could make myself happy, and I should just be appreciative of the fruits that are, that grow from that type of stuff. I'm 30 years old. I'm sorry if that totally spoils the videos for you from here on out, but I'm 30 years old. This ASMR channel, this opportunity, has given me far more than I thought it was going to, rather. You guys are giving me the opportunity to act again. You're giving me the opportunity to dream again about being able to do big things with this type of stuff. And this is practice for me. And I never thought that I was going to have that again. So whenever I thank you, and whenever I say you guys have no idea how much this means, that's kind of what I'm talking about. You guys have given me a chance to dream. And I didn't think I was going to have that again. I really thought I was going to have to settle for a 9-to-5 for the rest of my life, and then just kind of go from there. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. I don't have to, because I have this, and you guys tell me how much you love it, and you give me encouragements, and you even offer criticism when it's deserved, and I will absolutely take constructive criticism, don't get me wrong. So the point of all of that is, look, don't give up on whatever dreams you have, because while everybody likes to tell you life is short, and that's true, there's also plenty of opportunities for you to do plenty of things in your lifetime. And even if it doesn't feel like something's ever going to come to fruition, you can't give up on it. You have to keep going. I don't know where I would be if it weren't for being able to do ASMR and being able to do this channel and being able to help all of you and continue something that I'm very passionate about. But you guys give me the chance to do that, and I can't thank you enough for that, and I can't encourage you enough to keep fighting for your own dreams and your own passions and your own ambitions. Just don't give up, because you never know. Like, 30 isn't too old, and 15 isn't too young, so keep pushing. Man, that was a really emotional, answer to that, to that really simple question, but I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from now whenever I gratuitously thank you for stuff. I'm really not trying to, I'm not trying to be annoying or anything like that. That is absolute sincerity. And so I'm happy I got an opportunity to even say that. I've been thinking about it a long time and haven't really been able to have a chance to say that to you guys about the whole acting and not giving up on your dreams and stuff. So thank you so much for that part, for that question in particular, because I wanted to get that out for a long time and haven't had a chance to. Quick coffee break. Oh, I've gone through 2 cups. 2 cups of this thing, and it's almost an hour long. Oh my god, how are you guys going to be able to deal with me for this long? Let's see, what other questions do they have here? Because you really get into your videos. They also ask, what country or countries would you like to live in or visit, and why? Well, as things are currently going right now, I don't really know that, I don't really know that there's a better place for me to be in than America. As an American, and with other countries kind of deservedly losing their patience with us, I feel like I'm safer here than I am anywhere else in the world. But taking that out of consideration, because I don't want to get political. This is not what that channel. That is not what this channel is. And I intentionally stay away from that type of stuff, because that can really rile people up, and it can take them out of a kind of quiet side of YouTube that I really think a lot of people need. But in a practical sense, country or countries would you like to live in or visit, and why? Well, I've always wanted to go to Japan. I think Japan is gorgeous. That's been a thing since I was a kid and I first started watching anime. I've wanted to know how much of that is like based in a reality and how much of that is just for the sake of, entertainment. And the more I read that anime is basically like primetime television in Japan, the more I want to visit it. But also there's like, hey, there's the Nintendo World headquarters. That's a plus. And the Japanese countryside is just absolutely gorgeous. And there's a few YouTube channels that I follow of Americans who live in Japan, and they kind of give you an idea of what an average day in that country is like and stuff, and I'm just utterly in love with it. Another country that I would like to live in or visit would be Ireland or Scotland. And the reason for that is because I have Irish and Scottish blood in me, but also because my mom really wanted to go to Ireland. She was fascinated by both the Irish and the Scottish culture, and she's not going to be able to do that at all. And so part of it would be to have that experience for her. And another part of it would be because, oh my God, so I'm a fan of Outlander, the TV show Outlander, and the sprawling countrysides, and like even the rain. I don't care about the rain. I love the rain actually, so like it even appeals to me more. But pictures that I've seen and like different locations to visit, and the accents are a fun thing to listen to, and I don't know. There's a certain kind of there's a certain appeal and a certain quality that you get out of being in those countries that is just really attractive to me, and it's something that I really want to visit. Plus, I have to understand the culture side of we go to the kirk, we go to church in the morning, and then we all meet for beers afterwards. Sounds like the greatest day ever. where you can all just have your little services, and then you can go drink some beer afterwards. I want to experience that, because that sounds like a great time. Just like funny little cultural, I shouldn't say funny, I don't necessarily mean it that way, I don't mean to be offensive or anything, but the uniqueness of the culture to countries is really fascinating to me. And in America, like, you can't imagine, I mean, I'm sure there's certain people that maybe do this, but like the majority of people, whenever they think about persons going to church, they don't imagine immediately that they go to the bar afterwards, but like that's normal over there from what I understand. And oh my God, I want to experience, actually, I want to experience St. Patrick's Day over there too, because I hear it is 10 times a bigger deal in, I believe it's Ireland. It might be both of them. But it's as big of a deal in one of those countries as it is in America, and I have to know what that's like. I have to be able to experience that. I would love to be able to just go around Europe, honestly. I'm very jealous of the ability of you Europeans to be able to just hop on a train and just go to another country and like spend the weekend there. I don't have that ability being in America. And I'm not necessarily in a comfortable place in America to where I can do that in my own country. So the fact that you can do that, it just makes me so jealous. It makes me feel like 2 weeks worth of just going around everywhere would simultaneously not be enough, but at the same time would be an overwhelming experience of going to see different countries around Europe and stuff. But definitely Japan and Scotland or Ireland. One of those three countries. I would love to visit them. And then they also ask, have you ever been outside of the States? If so, where? I haven't. I'm 30 years old, and the one thing I don't own is a passport, and I wish I did. I would love to be able to visit any other place outside of the United States. It makes me feel it weirdly makes me feel narrow-minded to just be here and to have not experienced any other place. But the unfortunate side of that is that traveling is expensive, and I'm not exactly in a comfortable financial situation right now to where I can do that anytime soon. But I hope at some point in the future that that's something that I can do, because I would absolutely love to experience other places outside of the States. And then the final question they have, last but not least, then I'll finally let someone else have a turn, they say. What inspires you to get the mic out and create content? You guys do. Here's more story time with Madam. I created this channel because there was a need for it. One of my other favorite ASMR artists is Cardlin Audio, and I was listening to one of his gender-neutral videos one day, and I just happened to be bumming around the comments, and there was one in particular there that said something along the lines of, "Thank you so much for the gender-neutral content. It's so hard to find something that's helpful for the LGBTQ community." And I remembered reading that and thinking to myself, well, that's not fair. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. And I kind of went through, and I mean, prior to even reading that comment, I've been thinking about doing an ASMR channel for at least a month, but like what I'd been thinking about was like sounds, so like little tapping noises, or there's even a keyboard that I have over here. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but there's this very excellent keyboard that I have that would be perfect for an ASMR tapping experience, or just like, keyboard sounds and stuff. And I was thinking about doing things like that, but when I saw this comment, I kind of started digging through YouTube, and yeah, you know what? There's really not a whole lot of gender-neutral material out there at all, and not even necessarily gender-neutral, but also nothing that's any really, like, that's really LGBTQ friendly. And when I realized that, the first thing that popped into my head was, oh, I can do that. My friends had always told me I had a really good voice. Excuse me. And God, that doesn't sound egotistical at all. My friends have always told me I had a really good voice. And I had such a desire for acting for so long that I figured, you know what, I can put the two and two together. Like, I've been writing for a really long time. I've always wanted to be an actress. This is something that I could combine, and this is something I can make work. And I asked a friend of mine, specifically, a gay friend of mine, and she told me, one of my favorite things about you is the long phone conversations we've had, because I've always thought you've had an excellent voice. So yes, I think you can do this. So the first 5 videos I feel like are like the best videos I've made, because those are the ones, like, my goal basically when I started the channel was I had 5 ideas, and I was going to do those 5 ideas in 5 videos, and then I was going to see what the result was, and then I was going to go from there. I didn't even need to wait for the 5th video to come out. By the time the second one had come out, I'd already had, I think, like 19 subscribers by that point, when the channel didn't have any originally, and it basically erupted from there on out. And before I even got to the 5th idea, I was already pretty damn sure that I was onto something. But the responses that I got out of those videos, outside of, thank you so much for doing this, was how much it helped other people. And, the older I've gotten, the more I've wanted to do with my life is just help others. I get so much more satisfaction out of helping other people than I do trying to take care of things myself, because I feel, and part of that is probably just from like the struggle of trying to get into trying to get into filmmaking and all that whatnot. Like, trying to achieve my own dreams always felt really hard, but it's really easy to help make other people happy. And also, I struggle with my own anxiety and depression and feelings of loneliness, and that feeling of like you're never going to amount to anything. That's very relatable to me. But I also remembered all those times where I didn't have anybody in my life, and I just felt so horribly alone. And I couldn't imagine being, well, I shouldn't say that I couldn't imagine, because I could, but it just felt wildly unfair to me that there could be, a gay or lesbian teenager out there who just feels so lonely, and they don't have anybody to talk to, or not even necessarily to talk to, but they don't have anybody who could have a comfort video or something like that could really help them out. So like the anxiety video was a real obvious one. Will you be my girlfriend was a real obvious one. I'm not as good as doing the gender neutral stuff as I should be. And I realize that, and I'm really trying to make an effort to fix that. But with some of the requests that I've already recorded to this point, they're going to gear a little bit more towards one side of the LGBTQ audience. So those looking for something gender neutral, please have a little bit of patience. I have to get through these requests, and but I'm very aware, and I'll do my best in the future to keep things a little bit more neutral from that point on. But some things have already been recorded, and I can't really do anything about that at this point. But it's hearing messages, it's reading messages like that. It's reading the comments that you guys send me, or the emails. I mean, hell, I posted up this whole deal for the AMAWR, and, said, yeah, go ahead and ask me anything. And like the first 4 or 5 emails I got had no questions, but were basically, hey, just thank you for this channel, and thank you for giving me something that I can go to. Which is just blowing my mind. Like, the channel is growing to a rate that's making my head spin, and just when I think I can wrap my head around it, I turn around and look at the subscribers, and it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. And there's clearly a need, and I wanted to answer, and apparently answering was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It allows me to pick up and dust off and continue my dream of acting, and screenwriting, I guess, will play into the future, and even directing in a very small way, because, one of these days I want to make these a little bit more authentic. I want to be able to add better sound effects to the background. I want to be able, instead of just like ripping audio from one place, I want to be able to like actually give you, like really quality like background noise that would help really set the tone, and have equipment that will, like a mic stand, since I've been holding this mic for for literally an hour, almost an hour and 10 minutes. Just like I gesticulate a lot whenever I talk, or even when I act. Like, so being able to have a set microphone and where I can use my hands and like have emphasis and things like that would help, I feel like, with the videos and just the audio in general. And then having like the software to be able to turn this into high quality stuff and be able to provide you guys with MP3s and maybe even personalized content in the future. I'll go ahead and admit it, even though the channel's not ready. I've dabbled with Patreon in the last couple of months, and when people ask me for requests, they usually follow it up with, I've really been having trouble with this lately. And I get the impression that when the requests come by, it's not necessarily that they want that request as a general thing, but they want it as like something directed towards them. And that's something that I want to provide. But, again, having a full-time job, trying to do 2 videos a week, eventually wanting to get to 3 would be like a big ordeal. You know what I mean? But like more on that in the future. That's something that I haven't really, haven't totally developed to the point where I want it to be yet, but that is something that I've thought about, because I want to be able to give you guys, like, if you need to hear me say your name in order to help with your anxiety even more, I want to help out with that. That inspires me the most. I love helping people. The older I've gotten, the more I've just wanted to help people, and this has been a way for me to be able to do that. And think about it, guys. Like, the way with this channel, I mentioned charity live streams a little bit earlier. Like, we could we could have these charity live streams where we could help other LGBTQ causes. Like there's some places out there that house abandoned youth. Well, you know what? That sucks, and I want to be able to help out those youth and those corporations and that type of stuff. And when disaster strikes, when there's hurricanes, or when there's storm surges, or when there's devastating tornadoes or stuff like that, I want to answer that call. I just want to help people. And the fact that you guys are around here too, I feel like is an answer to that desire. And that's what fuels me when I get out the mic. That's what inspires me when I pull out this mic and make content, is that I'm imagining that there is somebody in this audience that's listening to something that I'm making, and I'm reaching them directly, and I'm able to tell them, anything that might help them quell their anxiety, or give them something really fun and silly, like The Last Slice of Cake, or even something nice and romantic, like Utterly Smitten, where I serenade you with the tones of my voice and not totally knowing a song. and just like practical stuff like that. Like that, that is what gets me going. That's what gets me energized whenever I think about, waking up on Monday morning and what do I have to do? I got to record today. All right, who can I help today? Like, what can I do to help improve somebody's life in some way? Like, that's my biggest inspiration by far. And so to see the channel grow to the extent that it has, I mean, hell, I'm sitting here with the channel up here right now, and it feels like not that long ago. Okay, 5 days ago I hit 500 subscribers, and now I'm sitting here at 573, and like I'm still wrapping my brain around that. Like, it's growing. There is a need for this, and it's growing. And you know what? I'm honored that I can help you, and I hope that in the future we can help each other, and we can continue to grow as this little community and just be able to reach out and give a hand to people who really need it and all that type of stuff. I'm so rambling at this point, but this is something that I've become passionate about. And like the channel has grown to this point where like I barely have had any time to really kind of wrap my mind about it or around it and really kind of clean things up, because it's answering the call, and there's people who need it, and it's very humbling, and it's very, it can be a little exhausting and a little intimidating at times because of how quickly it grows. But you know what? Your encouragements and your willingness to listen whenever I need somebody to talk to, good grief, guys. Like I've said, I can't thank you enough. I thank you all the time because it's genuine and it's sincere. And I said that you've allowed me to dream again, and I feel like I'm kind of reaching a point where the sky is almost the limit, Like I have a dream right now of hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark so that I can enable all that stuff on YouTube, and we can really kind of branch this channel out and turn it into something really special, and really help other people, and go on from there. But that is the ultimate inspiration for me. It's every single one of you. In the very beginning, it was the hopes that I was helping one person, and now with the way that the channel is, it's the hopes that it's helping all 500 plus, almost 600 by this point. Oh my god, almost 600 people. Like, that's utterly mind-blowing, and I have every single one of you to thank for that. So that pretty much does it for all the questions that I have here. Last thing, love your sense of humor. You're hilarious. Thank you. I'm quite a nerd. I'm quite the goofball. I like to have fun. I know when to be serious, but I like making people laugh, and well, this sounds a little douchey, but I do like inspiring others, but I also like inspiring them to believe in themselves. And that's another great thing with this channel too, is it gives me a chance to do that. Anyway, so those are all the questions that I've gotten. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for partaking in this little AMAWR. I hope you've had as much fun as I've had. I didn't really know what to expect whenever I threw this out here, but I had a good time, and like I said before, I'm kind of a private person, and so I didn't really indulge on too many super personal details. A couple of basic things is like cool with me, but like that's kind of how the channel is going to be from here on in. Is there's some things that I will answer and some things that I won't, and that's mostly just like to protect my own privacy and stuff like that. Let me think if there's anything. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, somebody, I can't remember. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. I can't remember who it was. There's someone who, oh, no. Oh, I really can't remember. Oh, shoot. Oh, I feel so bad now. I'm going to go, like, try and dig through and try and find this person, because I know that there was somebody who asked. Oh, they asked on YouTube. That's what it was. I'm sorry I can't remember who you were. But somebody asked about doing a face reveal in the future. A face reveal will never happen so long as this channel is going on. Because here's the thing. These are roleplay videos, right? And the idea is that you use my voice to supplement the idea of the perfect, let's just say individual, if not girlfriend, in your mind. And a face reveal, excuse me, a face reveal ruins something about that, because then you can't put the image of your perfect girlfriend in your mind. You have my face in your mind. And something about the magic disappears when the face becomes part of the equation. So there will not be a face reveal, not so long as this channel is going. Very, very little of my own like personal life will be posted, again, just to like protect my own privacy, and that kind of thing. But no face reveals for the future. I'm really sorry that I can't remember who you were. I'm like scrambling through my comments section trying to remember who on earth said that, and I feel so badly that that I don't have you like. I feel so badly that I don't have like I don't have your name up here immediately. As a matter of fact, I might just sit here and like edit this one portion of the video just so I can have it. Let's see, it had to have been on the 500 deal. I want to get your name out there. Like, I don't want to lose the credit for. Here's the ASMR right here. This is so dorky. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't imagine this. Oh my god. I can't find it. Oh, I feel so badly. Oh, I feel so badly. I could have sworn that this was on YouTube. I could have sworn that this was a YouTube comment. I feel so bad. I wrote all of these down. I had all of these set up. Ugh. Yay, fuck yes, it's video day. Oh, that's still one of my favorite comments. Has anyone ever told you that you sound like particular... oh, that's another one of my favorite. It's another some of my favorite comments. It's like, anyone ever tell you sound... Whoever it was who said you sound like Jodie Foster. Oh my god. So, like, Jodie Foster is legit one of my favorite actresses. She's one of those actresses that I studied a lot when it came to, like, doing all the, like, I'm watching Oscar-only stuff. Like, she was a big deal with it. Oh my god, I can't find it. I legit can't find it. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry to this individual. Someone did ask this. Maybe they deleted the comment. I don't know. I could have sworn. No kidding. I could have sworn somebody left that up, posted that on YouTube somewhere, and I can't find them anywhere. So I'm very sorry that I can't like give you a specific shout out, but that's the answer to the question is no, a face reveal won't ever happen, and I'm gonna feel real bad if they had another question to it too. Ugh, I'm so sorry. That's kind of the problem of having the comment deal, is that it's when I get requests, I usually write them down right away, but that was a particular question for the AMAWR, and so I didn't have it down as quickly. So I'm really sorry that I can't give you a shout out, but yeah, that's the answer to your question. Is no, there will be no face reveal so long as the channel is active. So thank you for those questions, and thank you everybody else for your questions. Again, this was a fun time, and I hope you guys had fun too. And we're hitting like an hour and 20 minutes here. Oh my god, this is gonna be impossible to edit. So I need to basically get myself up and ready for that, and get this taken care of. So thank you guys so much for listening, for participating, and also thank you for the dozens and dozens of comments and encouragements and emails and little messages and all the things that you guys have sent me over this time. This has been amazing. This has been a completely amazing and unexpected experience making this channel and seeing the blossoming result. And I have all of you to thank for that. I really didn't know what I was going to get when it came to creating this. I thought it was going to go slow, and it's gone faster than I ever could have possibly imagined. And like I said, I can dream now, and it's all thanks to all of you. So I hope you enjoyed listening. My voice is getting a little bit scratchy, and there's still coffee left on the pot over there, so I'm going to go indulge in the morning setup before I get cracking on editing this bad boy. And I will have this up Wednesday for all of you, so thank you guys again so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again on Friday with the 4th video this week. Aren't you guys completely spoiled? I love you guys. You're all awesome. I could wax poetic about this for like another 10 minutes, and that would absolutely just not be acceptable, because an hour and a half, oh my god, this is the length of a movie. I need to end this. All right, thank you guys again. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you